It started on a strip of cracked asphalt outside a sleepy Midwestern town no one thinks about unless they're driving through. Tasha Reed was coming home from drill weekend, still in her pressed uniform, mind already on her mother's pot roast, in a quiet Sunday night. She'd done everything right, paid her dues, earned her stripes, kept her record spotless. But when the flashing lights hit her rearview mirror, it felt like a trap door opening under her feet. The officer who stepped out of that cruiser carried himself like the street was his kingdom. "Step out of the car, soldier girl." He sneered, eyes flicking from her rank to her skin. "Fancy ride for someone like you. Did you steal it or just get a handout?" His name badge read Bowers, but everyone in that county called him Brad. Tasha's voice stayed calm. "This is my car. I'm just trying to get home." Her hands were visible, palms up, but he closed the distance anyway, leaning so close she could smell stale coffee and chewing tobacco. "Out here," he hissed, "your uniform doesn't mean a damn thing." He yanked her bag off the passenger seat, dumped it on the pavement, letting her ID skitter across the asphalt like trash. It escalated fast. His hand on her arm, the cold metal of the hood under her palms, the crowd at their windows watching. She kept repeating, "You're out of line. You're out of line," but his eyes were hungry for humiliation. "You want special treatment," he barked. "Try another zip code." Then came the flash of the gun, the crack that ripped the afternoon in half. She felt the bullet tear through her side like a white-hot blade. Time slowed. Her training didn't. Bleeding dizzy, she rolled away from him, her fingers finding her sidearm out of sheer survival. "You're not killing me on my knees," she spat through gritted teeth. One shot, his thigh exploded in red, and he went down screaming, the street finally silent, except for the ringing in her ears. That should have been the end, but it was just the opening bell. They took her to the hospital under protective custody, which really meant isolation. The same sheriff who raised Brad Bowers came strutting into her room leaning over her mom. "Keep her quiet, ma'am. Call a lawyer, and I'll make sure she never leaves this hospital on her feet." Nurses swapped out her pain meds for sugar water cameras flickered off every time a deputy walked in. It was like a nightmare stitched from every story she tried not to believe about how power really works. But Tasha wasn't alone. A night nurse named Anna slipped her a burner phone whispering, "Record everything. They think no one's watching." "I am." A janitor from the night shift risked his job to hand her a sealed bag scrap of uniform blood sample. "Get it to your people," he muttered. Tasha typed through trembling fingers, sending evidence to an old army buddy, Leo, who worked in forensics. "Trust no one inside," she wrote. "They're trying to rewrite me." Outside, it got uglier. Her mother's windows shattered at midnight, spray paint dripping threats down the siding. Deputies grabbed Anna in a storage closet, hissing, "We can make you vanish." The janitor got threatened with deportation, all because they dared to help a black soldier. What Brad and his uncle didn't count on was the army. Leo took those samples straight to his commander. Within days, Colonel Walker had a dossier proving the hospital charts were faked. The bullet trajectory doctored her painkiller's cut. He slapped the table and growled, "They tried to kill one of ours on American soil. Not on my watch." Quietly, methodically, he deployed military lawyers and federal investigators into the heart of that county. And while Tasha lay in her hospital bed fighting through withdrawals and nightmares, victims started crawling out of the shadows. Old Marines with limps they never explained. A young airman with a shattered wrist. A mother who lost her son in county jail after Brad found drugs on him. Each story layered on the next until it formed a mountain no one could ignore. Tasha dragged herself through rehab like a soldier through a minefield. No speeches, no slogans, just grit. Every step with her cane was a middle finger to the people who tried to break her. Anna came back one night, eyes darting to the hallway, whispering, "They're switching your meds again. Don't eat or drink anything unless it's from me." Tasha squeezed her hand, voice hoarse. "You're saving my life." Weeks later, when she could finally sit up, Leo arrived with Colonel Walker and a civil rights attorney named Clarence Hall, a man who'd burned half his career fighting corrupt police departments. They spread the evidence across her tray. Table ledgers, burner phones, payoff lists, doctored medical records. Clarence said it flat. We're not just defending you, we're burning their whole system down. By the time she testified before Congress, she'd stopped trying to sound respectable. She wore her uniform scars visible, cane tapping the marble floor. I wore this believing it would protect me, she said, voice low but steady. But on that road, all Brad saw was my skin, not my service, not my humanity. Cameras caught it. Headlines roared. Hashtags exploded. The hearing room turned electric. Some lawmakers nodded, eyes wet. One old senator sneered, "Are you telling us soldiers should resist police authority?" Tasha met his gaze. "I'm telling you no badge is a free pass for brutality." The crowd erupted. Colonel Walker added the punchline, "If a black soldier can be shot in cold blood on our own street and nothing happens, then what are we fighting for overseas?" While Congress squirmed, the town cracked. Officers started flipping. A rookie named David Tran testified, voice shaking. "We were told to erase body cam footage or be next." A Latina rookie followed. "We were warned, you're either one of us or you're done." Even a 50-year-old sergeant choked out an apology. "I kept my mouth shut because I was tired and scared." The blue wall fell brick by brick. Finally, the trial. The courtroom smelled of sweat and history. Tasha sat in the front row, back straight, her mother's hand in hers. Brad Bowers shuffled in, wearing chains, a ghost of his swaggering self. The jury, forewoman, a black woman from 2 towns over, read the verdicts one by one: aggravated assault, racially motivated violence, conspiracy, obstruction. Guilty, guilty, guilty. The judge's gavel echoed like thunder. Life without parole. Curtis Morgan, the sheriff who tried to bury her, got his turn: 2 racketeering, conspiracy, federal time. Reporters scribbled, survivors wept, even some cops in the gallery stood up and left. Brad had to be dragged out, spitting curses, but no one cared anymore. Afterward, Tasha didn't give a victory speech. She just walked out into the daylight, cane in one hand, her mother's hand in the other. Outside the courthouse, hundreds of veterans, families, and kids from her old neighborhood held signs. "Justice for Reed. Protect black soldiers." She stopped, eyes scanning the crowd, and for the first time in months, let herself smile. Months later, at a quiet military academy auditorium, she stood at a podium in front of cadets of every color and gender. Her limp was still there, but her voice had turned into something unshakable. "I'm not a hero," she said. "I'm a soldier who refused to kneel when a badge told me to, that's all." A kid in the back asked, "Could it happen to someone like me?" She smiled hard. "Prejudice is a snake. Today it bites me. Tomorrow it could bite you. What matters isn't the color of your skin, but the strength of your spine." She didn't sugarcoat it. She told them courage isn't medals or hashtags, it's drawing a line and daring power to cross it. And she left them with the same warning she'd lived by: they depend on our silence. They win when we're ashamed. Turn that shame into fire. Now her town has a new law. No more golden parachutes for dirty cops. No more quiet retirements. No more erasing the tapes. A registry for abusers, lifetime bans, federal oversight. It isn't perfect. It's just a start. But it's a start written in ink they can't wash away. When she thinks back to that cracked asphalt, the smell of gunpowder, the taste of blood, she still hears his voice sneering. "Out here, your uniform doesn't mean a damn thing." And then she remembers the sound of the jury forewoman saying guilty and the crowd outside chanting her name. That's what it means now. You might be wondering if she feels triumphant. Some days she does. Some nights she still wakes up sweating. Trauma doesn't dissolve just because a verdict is read. But she looks at the coalition she built: nurses, janitors, rookies, colonels' kids, and she knows it was worth it. And that's why I'm telling you this straight up, like one American to another. Because you've probably seen something like it. A boss, a badge, a system that crushes the little guy and dares you to fight back. Maybe you stayed quiet. Maybe you spoke up. So here's the question Tasha Reed leaves hanging for all of us. Do you think she was right to fight back? Or should she have stayed silent and respectful to survive another day? Have you ever been in a moment when you had to choose between obeying and surviving or standing up and risking it all? Drop your story in the comments, tell us where you were watching from, and let's talk about what justice really looks like where you live.